Hello, greetings, salutations. I'm going to do some counting off of the Rhythm Studies pages in Essential Elements Book 2. So for some of you, that is your page 42. For some of you that are in Essential Elements Book 1, which is gold at the top, it's going to be different rhythm patterns because Book 2, of course, is a continuation where that book leaves off. Welcome to 80s week. I've got all my 80s from here up. So don't let that distract you, even if you're watching this video at some later time. So starting without further ado on line 1 of page 42, Rhythm Studies, there's a combination of eighth notes, quarter notes, and some rests. I'm going to count it the band way, meaning that there's 4 beats per measure in each measure. And of course, we're keeping a steady beat without the metronome because the metronome is in the device I'm recording with. All right, so here I go. 1, 2, counting now. 1, 2, 3, tay, 4, tay. 1, 2, 3, and 3. 1 and 3, 4. Notice the quarter notes, just as a reminder. If you're in this book, you already know probably most schools are doing the counting with a half note held and going 2 counts with the pulses, either 1 or 3. So I stuck with that on this for now. As you know, if you take from me, I also like 1-2 or 3-4. I do, regardless, on either counting system, like the eighth notes down, up, or 1 tay. Very much so, because that just is what your foot would be doing. 1 and 2 and. Okay, line 5, also in 4/4 time. We have some dotted quarter notes. Remember, that's 1.5 beats. So your foot, it will be a down, up, down. Here we go. Set, line 2. 1, 2, 3, tay, 1, tay, 3, tay, 4, 1, and 3, 1, tay, 3. Interesting. We're going to break that one down. That one's kind of challenging. A lot of students do mess up on that. So measure 5, 1, 2, down, up, because of the dotted quarter, or ta, 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 ta. Okay, measure 6, 1, tay, 3, tay, 4. That one's not so bad. Measure 7, a little tricky because of the quarter note rest. 1, rest, tay. That's weird. 1, 2, and then the dotted quarter. So 1, tay, 3, because you've got beat 4 plus a half. That's kind of tricky. And then measure 8. Ta, 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 or 1 and 3. Interesting line. You know, if I were doing a tiebreaker in the band class, I would probably pick that line if it was a middle school band or a high school band. And there would be a lot of kids that would crater on that probably. You know, you got to really think and count and get your foot going to be able to do the dotted rhythms. All right, let's look at the third line. Line 3, kind of a different line than line 5. There's no dotted rhythms, but some eighth note rests mixed in with eighth notes, quarter notes, half notes, and quarter note rests, eighth rests. Okay, here we go. Measure 9, I'm going to go straight across, and then if we need to discuss, we'll discuss. And, oh yeah, we need to discuss, don't we? Because it starts with an and 3. That's strange. Or take, yeah, and 3, rest. 2, 3, take, 1, take. Take 3, 4, take 1, take 3, rest. Tricky, tricky, tricky. The only way really to count that is to make sure your foot is going. It could also be the down ups like this. Here's my foot. I'm wearing these crazy gloves because the 80s. Just play like it's a shoe. Down, up, down, tap. down, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, rest up. Whoa! Measure 12. Down, up, down, up on the rest. Interesting rhythm. So, as you go through with that, see, your teacher had to look at that for a second and go, what? So, yeah, those are interesting rhythms. Now, oddly enough, although 13 looks, whoa, intimidating, 16th notes in many regards may be easier to count than the line we just counted, line 3. So looking at line 4, I'm showing, remember with 16ths, it's either going to be 1 ta-ta, 2 ta-ta, 3 ta-ta, 4 ta-ta, or 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a, depending on your school's counting system. I think I'll use 1 ta-ta for today. So let's look at 13, just to stick with my one taste. Here I go on the 4th line, and 1, 2, ta, 3 ta, 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 4, 1 ta, 2 ta, 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 3, rest. 1 ta, 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 2, 3 ta, 4 ta, 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 1 ta, 2 ta, 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 3. Does sound weird, doesn't it? But that's how you count it. Or in 1 enas. 1, 2, and 3 E and a 4, 1 and 2 E and a 3, rest. 1 E and a 2, 3 and 4 E and a 1 and 2 E and a 3. The end. All right, so these are some crazy rhythms. Your next assignment, of course, since I would divide this page into sections, would be to have you try to attach some of them and clap more than one line without stopping. So maybe we'd be looking at something like 1, make sure after you get to measure 4, going straight into 5, going straight from 5, 6, 7, 8, straight into 9, and see how far you could go before you messed up. That's how band directors sometimes also break ties and see how far can they go before they make a mistake. Just remember to not panic and count and stick with what your foot says. If your mouth says the wrong thing, will the band director count it wrong? Probably. But if your mouth says the wrong thing, but it says it at the right rhythm time, will you get more credit than if you just said it at the wrong time? You bet you would. So the main thing is getting the rhythm right, knowing your head. If your tongue got tangled, you said tay instead of two, but it's on the right beat, then you're still on the right path of counting rhythmically soundly. All right, well, that's my lesson today on the rhythm studies from book 2, lines 1, 2, 3, and 4.